Perfect. Ask and ye shall receive. We have the Canadians versus the world. Wow. That is not often a matchup you see.
I don't know. I think when we're looking at Canada versus the world, there's a lot of nice people in Canada, so I have no predictions here, 9.
Well, we're just going to have to see this one. With Slimy on the E-leader, nothing good can come from this set, but we'll take a look right here, everybody. This is your grudge match of the TOs. The TOs who work tirelessly to bring you these events are going to get to have a little fun right here. And Melissa, why don't you talk a little bit about what we're going to see on this map, because you seem to be the fan of it here, so I'll let you take this one.
I'll be honest, this is not what I was expecting to see, but fine, we'll go with it. I think E-Leader is definitely the one type of charger you would want to play on Mori Towers, so we do see one of those coming out. I think having kind of 3 dualies over here is very smart, because this map, you can really utilize a lot of the different heights and those dualie rolls to roll off of them. Get yourself into position much, much faster than you would if you had to kind of walk all the way down here. Slimy's a stick player, no? Slimy charger, stick charger. I'm all sorts of confused, but it's Mori Towers, so who would have known?
Yeah, who'd have thunk it here? Like I said, Slimy on E-Leader, nothing good can come from this. But I'm glad that you brought up the Dapples there, because the Vanilla Dapples, rather, do have beacons here. And this is one of those beacon maps where if you want to use it, now is the time. But credit the Canadians here. They have managed to push back out here. Need to focus a little bit on that zone. And with the bubbles pop, they are going to take it back. So great work. Pace Cat pushed way up here, able to get Slimy here. And now that they have their 2 frontliners up in an aggressive position, this might start to snowball a little bit.
It certainly can. I think that they're in a position to do so. Pace Cat needs to be a little careful about some of those missiles. Is able to use that splashdown to try to survive that last one where he didn't quite have enough space to kind of come around that. Slimy knows where he is, though, and it is going to call him out and force him to retreat a little bit, where he runs into K-Bot and is able to take him out before any pain can come to him.
Cats beat robots, everybody. Let it be known. Pace Cat gets another one right there and is now chasing down Beta. Good job by Beta holding that. You saw moving around that central block there, using the fall-off damage that the Slosher class is known for. Able to take out Yoko as well. A very pesky brush that can sometimes make your life difficult. But credit Beta there. If Beta had gone down, this might be, again, a lead swap going the other way. But it wasn't, and the moment's gone.
It certainly is. I think at some point you need to be really careful about where you're stepping on this map, because one false move could give the other team the upper hand, as we have continued to see. But it's going pretty much how I expected, 9. We're going back and forth quite a bit. Neither team is without a penalty right now, which is what you want to see when you're in a map that takes a very long time for you to get back into zone. You don't want a team to be able to tick down on that point very quickly.
Correct, and really the win condition right now is, can they get a wipe and push up? Because I think that in the up close and personal side of it, if the Canadians are able to push up onto the enemy snipe, they have 3 weapons that can pop out of nowhere and take you out very quickly. Dapples, brush, and a roller, so that really is what matters most. You've seen that Pace Cat continues to go up and attack there. They managed to hold, and now they're in a position where they have to defend, which this comp isn't the best at. So we'll see right here, just a few seconds left. Slimy needs to hit a shot. It does look like Beta and Alice have pushed in, though. They're going to get control back. Very good job of holding on to Snipe, being able to defend that position, the most important part of this.
It certainly seems so. I think that this is where they need to be really careful. I like the beacon placement that Yoko has been playing with, though. You know, being able to utilize those, as you mentioned way earlier, to jump into the map very quickly is the way that you need to play it when you have so far that you need to go. I think at this point, though, they're just kind of taking it a little slower than maybe I would like to. I think that the Canadian team is just shutting things down that the world, it's weird to call a team the world, is not really prepared for.
They're not, and you saw that Yoko was sitting there on Snipe that entire time, waiting for people to rotate back over there. They're trying to zone people into a position where they can jump back out and use their sharks. That's certainly the idea that they've tried to go for, since they've realized they might not be able to push up. And Yoko holding this side down is now the last one. Probably needs to focus on trying to hold this zone here. They only need a couple more seconds. Yoko's actually able to come over and falls right into the arms of Beta right there. So great work right there, holding on to that again. This has just been a back and forth match, but it seems like slowly but surely the Canadians are chipping away.
They certainly are, and I think this is where you have to be really, really careful about where your maneuverability is going to be, and watch your back. Alice coming in hot, able to not only take out, I think that was a double there, but launch this bomb rush that's going to make it very difficult for anyone to come down from spawn and kind of hold onto this zone a lot longer for the rest of the world to hold down what they can.
Yeah, I think Alice absolutely did the job right there. She was able to get the double, like you mentioned, and then have the bomb rush to control Snipe. We've been talking so much about how the Canadians have attacked Snipe. How about some taste of your own medicine right there? K-Bot very wisely backing up and allowing Alice to come in and get another pick right here. It's going to be a desperate Hail Mary of a play just to get a single zone back, and that Hail Mary will not be answered. Already, the world taking game one.
And there we go. Now nobody has to complain about Moray Towers again because it's over and done with, and it was a fun game to watch.
Woo! And I cannot emphasize this enough. Ooh! Woohoo!
It's just so much fun. I think that both teams, they did a pretty good job. And I am kind of unfamiliar with how the TOs play, to be honest. Obviously, I've seen Slimy play on a couple of teams previously. I am familiar with how Pacecat plays from LANs, but for the rest of them, I'm not as familiar with their play styles, so it was really nice to be able to watch them, and the teamwork coming out from the Canadians I thought was especially strong, so I'm excited to see what we'll get from the next one.
Well, Schellendorf Institute here. If Slimy wants to stay on the Charger, this isn't a bad map to it here. We have seen so many times how if you have a consistently strong backlaner who can make shots, this is going to be a great map for you. Now, it's a little bit different here than it would be if it was Splat Zones, for instance. Of course, you are going to have to move. It's not as much of a defensive mode, but the top does stay in a similar arrangement, we'll say. So I think, again, the team that's able to get past that very first checkpoint and be able to push onto the other side is going to have a great opportunity. And if we see comps that are even remotely similar, this is going to be a very attack-heavy game, and those are always fun to watch.
It certainly will be. I think Schellendorf Institute in and of itself is always fun to watch because players come up with really interesting comps that they want to run on this. We could sit here and expect... I don't know, certain things, I do expect to see at least one Charger player come out because if you can set up on that glass and pick off your opponents, it's a really good position to be in. But I think other than that, we're looking at some wild cards. If people feel comfortable on the dualies that we saw last game, we could see those again. If people are looking for a little bit of something different, maybe we'll get a slasher out here. That would be really nice for tower control too. So I don't know, any guesses from you, Nine?
Well, I've seen K-Bot's weapon roster, and it's not exactly a deep roster, so I think we'll probably see that here. I'm curious to see if Beta might switch over to a sloshing machine, because we did see the Try come out. I don't know that Try is quite as strong on tower control, maybe not here, as you might like a machine instead, or maybe even a soda slosher. But what I'm really interested in seeing is what the Canadians bring out, because we talked about how strong sharking is when your opponent doesn't know where you are. You have to be pretty honest about your attacks on this map, right? There aren't a ton of ways to get behind your opponent. So we'll take a look right here, and it's going to be Rainmaker. So this does change things up just a little bit. Now the top end is open, or closed rather there, and it looks like Pacecat is going to be switching over to the Mini. So this is going to be a fun way to look at it right here. K-Bot switching over to the foil, proving me completely wrong. Do machines experience fear? That is my question.
At some point, I think so. I think that, especially for what's it called when you can learn behavior as a machine? AI,
Artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence, if it's able to learn those behaviors, then fear is definitely something you would learn. And at this point, I think maybe you have an opportunity to be afraid. I don't know. I'm really interested here. I was sort of anticipating tower control. Yes?
Yeah, I believe so, and that that's on us for missing that one there. But again, Alice opening things up in a very, very big way on the attack right there. You saw that Yoko was sharking there, expecting to be able to punish Alice, but those Dabble Dualies are just a little bit too quick. We haven't played against them in forever, so sometimes you forget exactly how difficult they are to take down in an up-close and personal fight. But great job to Alice there for keeping it neutral. And again, both of these teams waiting for a 2 or 3 down situation to make their push, but it seems like they've continually traded. We had a 2 down situation, and then it became, again, the other team went 2 down. Alice once again attacking, goes down here, but then at the bottom of the screen, another one's gone down. So again, it just seems like neither side able to create a big opening.
Certainly seems so. I think right now they just have to kind of figure out what their plan of attack is going to be here. I think, as you mentioned, neither side creating a big open, neither side really paying attention to the Rainmaker that's sort of hanging out in mid there. Oh, I say that and they do pick it up. The world going. Slimy picks this up, makes a really nice run all the way into the high 40s here. And the rest of the team is pushing up. They're doing a fantastic job supporting Slimy.
Full wipe. He is going to bag his way to victory right there. You got to love it. You knew Slimy was going to do it. The world takes game number 2. And it felt like a chess match. They were both at stalemate, running into each other, attacking. But eventually, if you play a little bit sharper, you're going to start to win those 1v1s that we saw all over the map. Great work right there. And again, it seems like Alice really being the carry here. We saw her make the play in Moray Towers that really opened it back up. How's about that one right there on Rainmaker to close it out as well? Canadians need to find some answers here. This has not gone well for them so far.
Maybe they'll find those answers on Camp Triggerfish. I think that this could be what you'd want to see. I'm actually really excited to watch Tower Control on Camp Triggerfish because there's so many opportunities for players to fall into the water, and we love that. Not sarcasm, it's actually really always, to me, really fun to watch a player kind of misstep a little bit and watch the fantastic recoveries that come from that moment too. So maybe this is where the world will trip up, if you will, and the Canadians will be able to take a game.
We'll hope so right here. And you know, Camp Triggerfish, man, for this to be the one that was on Tower Control, you know, I was with Rainmaker, I was like, okay, I like Rainmaker, wide open map, you have a number of ways to attack the opponent. But here, it's, oh boy, the battle is just going to be over that water. And really, once you get to the second checkpoint there where you're safe and you've gotten past the big water trap, the game kind of opened up in a big way. But this is another attack-heavy map. If one team gets the advantage, expect them to run right down street to get up to the top left side, the enemy's plat, and just continue to push forward until given a reason not to. If you got QR, now is the time to bring it up.
It certainly is that, and I think the super jump, especially if you were able to kind of remap any of your buttons to create a nice systematic super jump, this is where you would want to use it. You never want to jump to that tower when it's hovering over the water, but to get back into those games and be able to fight the other team as quickly as possible, maybe that's a play that you're looking at. We'll see what both teams are going to do here, Nine. Any guesses on what kind of weapons we're going to look at?
I think that Yoko and Tekno are probably going to stay with the same general look. They've done that for a couple of games now. The question I have is what Jay Tuesday and Pacecat are going to go, because Pacecat has a pretty deep roster of weapons. I know back in the Vitamin C days, swapped around to a number of different weapons, support weapons typically, to try to support what the rest of the team was doing. But Pacecat's really become an attacker here for this team, or has had to, and I would love to be inside the comms for these teams right now. I'm sure that they're laughing and having a great time. So those are the two that I'm looking to see what they're going to go to. It would not surprise me if we see a blaster or two here. Can I have a blaster, please? I'm a humble man. I just want my blasters.
I will second that. I'd like to see a blaster as well. I think that would be super fun to be able to watch on Tower Control, especially on Triggerfish, where if you get a direct and you have armor, that knocks you right off that tower. Oh, Nine, this can be so much fun. This can be so much fun.
We are waiting right now. You know, it's funny here. The are taking longer to get in now than they do in the actual tournament. I don't know who that says more about, but
I think I love it. It's great. It's a matter of, hey, what kind of gear do I have that might actually help me?
Do I own this weapon? That's the real question.
Do I own this weapon? Yeah.
Yeah, I could go foil fleet. Oh, wait. No, I can't. Sorry.
Yeah. Me, when I was playing in somebody's PBs and they said, all right, randomized PBs, and they said, okay, you have to play a Splatling. And I said, I don't own any of the Splatlings.
Wow. That's a bit impressive there. None of the Splatlings. Here it is. And we do have a blaster. We have a blob, too.
Dang, a blob. Oh, I'm so excited.
Tower Control, no.
I don't know. We also have an undercover. That's the undercover, right? That's a very tiny icon. But, yep. Oh, man, I am so excited.
We are getting everything that we want right here. Just call it out, everybody. The people will play what you'd like. K-Bot going down very early, so it's going to be the Canadians who are going to be able to make the first attack. And, you know, this being an undercover Brella, this is a weapon that Pacecat used a lot back in the day, especially when it was considered to be a bit stronger. It's still a fine pick on Tower Control, I believe. So, an option. And is Slimy going to frag out here with that? No, okay. I was about to say, is Slimy going to get both of them with a Clash Blaster? Almost.
Almost. I was so afraid. It looked like on my screen that Beta didn't quite make that jump, so that had my heart jumping a little bit. But Slimy as well, able to jump in onto the tower as Alice is doing a good job kind of staying alive over here from this baller that is chasing her, able to get away from that ball being popped and cause, I guess, a distraction for the rest of the team to be able to push pretty far ahead into 69. Not quite enough to take the lead, though. So this is going to be a good opportunity for the Canadians to kind of take things back for a minute.
I agree, and great job by Beta there, actually holding and making sure that they weren't able to get up and attack them from that elbow, able to hold on just long enough here that Slimy's going to be able to get on this side as well, and they aren't going to take as much damage as they could. You see that both Slimy and Alice are in a great position to slow this down, and how about this? Clash Blaster using Stingray here. This is 2020, everybody here. Slimy truly is a renaissance man using this kind of stuff.
Certainly is. For the first time I ever played Splatoon with Slimy, he played Clash Blaster, and for a long time I thought that was his main weapon. I thought, yeah, Slimy plays Clash. You know, I didn't know him very well at the time, so I know a lot better now, but it's still so much fun to be able to watch somebody pick up the Clash Blaster and use it in such a way that we're all so impressed. Speaking of being impressed, K-Bot staying alive from Pacecat, and Pacecat almost missing that ramp, but able to stay on there as well. I don't know, Nine. I think we're kind of looking at anyone's game so far. The world has done a pretty good job of maintaining this lead, but Canada is not so far behind.
No, they're not, and I think we now know why this took so long to get into the match. It's because they were installing TowerRide.exe there in K-Bot there, which is, this makes a little bit more sense now. Great job by him riding in, and he's really been on this side here, watching this elbow along with Beta. This is a lot of space that they're going to be able to control. It's going to make it that much more difficult for the opponents to approach. So great job there, having that idea, keeping their range in a spot where it can most effectively be utilized. But I agree with what you're saying there. We see Yoko coming around on a flank here. It hasn't been a big push from either team, and that's why we said earlier, it is that second checkpoint that really marks the point of no return.
It certainly is. I think that's where they really need to work towards, and the world has a very good lead for that. They're not so far from getting it, but oh no, I was gonna say if Yoko could get that shot on Slimy, we'd be looking pretty good. Not able to do so. Alice takes out another one and another one. Really nice assist coming out there as well. This is going to be the opportunity the world has been waiting for to get onto the second checkpoint, which will make them feel really comfortable about the rest of this game.
Yep, and Alice getting that pick is huge because the offense has been coming from Pacecat there. Or I'm sorry, not Pacecat. I believe it was Yoko there who is actually using that. So again, this has been really what they've been hoping for in this situation, having one of their frontliners be able to move forward. And to take that out early means that their attack or defense in this case is going to be blunted pretty hard. Jay Tuesday takes a swim, and I believe this one's probably going to go the way. The closest, okay, not even firing at anybody, a laser show to bring this one to the end. And the world now up 3-0. I believe this is still a play all 5. Oh, man, I don't want to bring out my broom. I have it here, but don't make me bring it out.
No, don't make me bring mine as well. I think we can leave the brooms in the closet. I don't really know where I was going with that, but for now, I think both teams just, like I said earlier, the Canadians have been playing really great teamwork. I think they're just kind of being outslain is what's going on. We had a lot of fantastic picks coming out from the world. They did a really good job making sure that they were able to take out the Canadians when they had an opportunity to do so. So maybe things will get changed up in the wildcard mode of the game when we go over to Clan Blitz on Walleye Warehouse. Honestly, Nine, I don't really hate this map mode combination as much as other players might.
This is probably my favorite mode to play Walleye on. I'll say that. So it could be worse here. I'm curious to see if either side is going to try to bring out a tent umbrella. This back even when people did not play tent at all, when it was still very much in its early stages, when the devs hadn't quite figured out how they wanted to buff it and balance it. This was still one where you could make it work simply because it's that difficult to challenge on the alley, as some people would call it, on the right side of the map, left side if you are attacking the opponent. So I'm interested to see if both of them opt to bring it out here, if they opt to stick with the same general weapons. But we've always said that this is a mode where you have to be coordinated if you want to make attack. I'm curious to see if we're going to see a knockout here. This one might play a little more like a solo queue match.
It certainly can. I think that we have the opportunity to see something like that. And, I'm going to leave it up there. I'd love to see that Blob Blobber make a return because I think that could be really smart for this map as well. You have those very confined alleys that if you can get some blob shots in, they're just going to ricochet around and make it very difficult for somebody to use that for escaping from if they're being base locked in. And, there's lots of opportunity here for things to move around. So we certainly shall see. Drift donated $10 in response to, say don't nerf Junior 2020, but maybe possibly in response to Carter writing in chat, donation goal to sub Lily in. We do know that this is Lily's favorite mode, so maybe this is the time that they would shine here.
You'd have to think so, and what a sub that would be for Canada too, to bring in Lily here, a nice ace here, the anchor runner, to come and bring them to the end of this race. We'll see if that was indeed the case. I think it might be a little late as I'm looking at it, but let's take a look there. Alice on the Clapples, and there will be no Lily here, so too little too late for that one. Slimy has also informed us motion is on for this set.
I'm so excited, actually. I'm really excited to watch because Slimy is one of the biggest proponents for not using motion control as a stick player, and he's a very good stick player. So I think it's really fun to be able to watch him play motion, and we'll see what's going to change for his playstyle and how that will affect the rest of the world and the team. I say that, and it's not doing too much yet, as K-Bot does get one pick there and has to retreat a little bit to stay alive from that inkjet, but is going to utilize some of this time that Booyah Bomb is buying him to push forward as the world has the first basket break. K-Bot launching those bubbles as cover, gets a pick, and is going to toss a couple of clams in right now.
Expertly done. That was really, really good. I like that. We talk so much about how in clams it's about staggering your specials here. The less that you have to use to get in, the more that you get to use to punish your opponents and to sustain the longer pushes there. So very wise, a great job of doing that. And even though they have gone down here, you see that they're still able to maintain mid control simply because of how good of a job they did at staggering the opponents. You saw right there, they're almost ready to score another. I believe Slimy got it in, and now is going to be able to run away at least a little bit, but you see that K-Bot's in a great spot to pick off anybody who tries to come back to the middle, builds another power clam, and they are back in business for another push if they want to do.
That is a really, really risky move from K-Bot as well, to hang on to that power clam and light up exactly where he is for the other team to be able to find him pretty quickly. Alice jumps in with a couple of other clams here and is going to be able to maneuver around back and forth. So this could be looking pretty good for the world to make another one as Alice builds a third power clam, I believe, going for this other power clam. Somebody else jumps in. Beta has to swap over. It doesn't quite make it in time. None of them quite do, as all of these loose clams that Alice had been holding on scatter everywhere. The world is trying to push up again, but the flank from behind makes it very difficult to do so.
Yeah, great work right there. Finding a way through there and not being distracted by all the bombs and bubbles that were coming out and attacking them there. Yoko as a brush main, that's kind of what brush mains have to do, is figure out other ways to get into the fight. You can't simply be honest and go up and attack. You have to lie a little bit. Honesty doesn't last long in the game of Splatoon. People figure things out too quickly.
They certainly do. I think you need to be very careful about if you're going to react with those flanks, how you're going to come about on that flank. Like if you're going to sneak, like you were mentioning way earlier in our set, or if you're going to kind of be very obvious with it. And I think right now both teams are just paying attention to as many picks as they can possibly get, what their splat number will be in order to help the rest of their teammates push forward on this map.
Taking a look at it right here again, a fight, and this is what I meant when I said solo game of clams here, because it's really just waiting for somebody to go down a little bit earlier, for 2 or 3 to go down, and using that to push in. We see the baller come in. Now here's a solo queue play. Watch the jump. This is going to score. Very barely getting that in. That hit the front end. And actually, Tekno's not in a bad spot to continue to follow this up, but Tekno being alone isn't going to be able to make it happen there. And now this is going to get ugly. You see already a Booyah Bomb coming out. they're about to have another clan that they're going to be able to jump to. They have 3 on the map right now. Melissa, this is going to get ugly. They could win the game off of this.
They certainly can. K-Bot unfortunately goes down. Slimy goes down as well, even though those bubbles are alive. Alice off to the side in that elbow, getting a couple of single clams in. That's the exact type of play that you were talking about earlier as well. You know, really good team coordination coming out. They do end up getting another power clam in. This has been crazy, Nine. What is going on right now?
Goodness gracious. They jump this in. They get 2. Okay, K-Bot wasn't able to get that in. Great job by PaceCat holding on there, but Alice was the last one. Scored, survived, and then continued to provide jumps for the rest of the team. Goodness gracious.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. That's the type of clams we like to see. PaceCat does jump in here, using that pillow as a little bit of a shelter there. Does get the power clam in, which is fantastic. They get a couple of other loose ones in, but there's another power clam that unfortunately is going to go to waste as Canada is unable to continue to follow up with this push.
Yeah, and I think they were just barely able to save that one with 30 seconds left. They needed that, and credit Slimy again for sneaking behind that attack too. They actually had enough people there to really put some big numbers on the board, but Slimy, as we said earlier with the brushes, found a way to sneak behind and make that play happen and shut it down early. And now it's just a battle in the middle. Everyone's trading spaces. I don't even know what mid is right now, but you can see here they are scrambling to find enough clams to put this together with just 10 seconds left. Now Yoko going up here, probably trying to get a pick and give a jump, but it looks like they might be running out of time here. 15, 16, they do have the power clam, and they're almost at 2. Keep an eye on Tekno at the top of the screen there. Is going to be able to sneak in. Alice is going to have to stop, and I don't think Alice saw them, but that Booyah Bomb might not let them jump. No, they do get the jump off. They're going to be able to score 2 power clams here, but they broke the barrier the other way in time.
Oh, that is perfect clam blitz right there. That's exactly what you want to see. That's exactly what you anticipate. Really fantastic play at the very end. Those last second pushes that break the barrier, end that overtime. Wonderful job.
And I'm trying to do some math here in my head. I believe that Tekno had 9 clams. They had 2 power clams. So that would have been 67 points if they were able to get all of those in. And there wasn't anybody else back there to defend that. So if they had gotten all those in, they would have won that game.
Man, they were so close. But bunker games, I think when you're facing down an enemy in that Thunderdome, this could be what changes it all, Nine. This could be the opportunity for the Canadians to get on the map, and we leave that broom in your utility closet, nice and safe and sound, with no dust upon it.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. And again, everybody, we can confirm this is it. Win or lose, this is the last game here of Splat for a Cause. And we just want to thank everybody once again. We give our final sign-offs afterward. Thank you so much for this. I believe the donation link is still open, yeah?
Yeah, it certainly is. !donate to go ahead and grab that link right there. And I think it's a perfect opportunity to say that we have raised so much money for a fantastic cause. And everybody, thank you so much for all the generosity you've shown still. If you want to go ahead and donate any more, if you are able to, we would really appreciate that. Thank you for everything you've done so far.
Wait now for our final game here. The Canadians need to look deep inside themselves. PaceCat rallying the troops right now. His famous charisma, saying, we can do this. We almost had that last game. Let's build it up. Let's make an attack here on the bunker games. And to be fair, Turf War, I think, can favor the game that the Canadians are trying to play if they are able to establish some control. I know a lot of their members like to play sharking weapons. They like to attack in that fashion. And we've seen with the bunker games, if you happen to have control of the map at the right time, that can be all it takes.
It certainly can. I think you have to be so careful in terms of your timing. If you can get into that zone as the different bunkers are falling down so that you are the player that's left there, you can quickly shut down any of the other team's opportunity to get that containment. I've seen a game 1 where all you have is kind of your upper section of spawn and the 3 bunkers in control, and that wins it. So it's going to be really interesting to see what they decide to do, Nine. I think this is a fantastic comp that we get, because who doesn't want to see a double brush team?
It's kind of interesting that they've both gone with this brush, too. A lot of times you might think that it's the other way, as we have a little cat and mouse game here that Slimy does get the victory on. It's not often that you see the arrow spray out-dueling any weapon in an up-close and personal fight, but you see right here the mobility, a Booyah Bomb. Might be able to put out 10 Booyah Bombs if Slimy opts to be that patient. A great throw there at Yoko, reading the movement. This is starting to look ugly already. Canadians, now's the time. Rally.
Do it. Do it. Canadians, come together. I think you have an opportunity right now. Honestly, though, what I'm seeing from the world is I'm seeing Turf War played on a competitive level. I think there's a little bit of a different concept when you play Turf War as Turf War and when you play it as a competitive team that's playing Turf War. I don't know if I'm making much sense, but I think you can kind of get my gist here. When you go for some of these picks, instead of paying attention to how much ink you have on the map, it can create a very different game. So I'm interested to see what we'll get out of this.
And especially on this map, one of the chief complaints people have is that it doesn't matter how you play, provided that you are losing at the right time. And I don't entirely agree with that at all, but it's especially easy on this map to make sure that you are controlling the spots you need to. We already saw Zone 1 containment happening at the right time. There's a reason that Yoko is sharking around here as well, understanding this is the spot to hold. As we start to tick down here, the Canadians are not in a bad spot. I feel like they have the advantage in the center. This is a nice inkjet from Yoko. If they're able to take out Alice, they might control it at the right time.
They certainly do have an opportunity. Ooh, they get that shot on K-Bot, which is amazing because that was kind of around a wall. They are holding on to it. They have 1 minute left, so there's not a lot of time before that main containment is going down right now. They are giving it an opportunity. We do have, each side does have one of the side containment units, so that's going to help them as well. It will allow for some extra points there, but I don't know, Nine. I think this one is going to go over to the world as they get that containment complete sign. And it's all purple in there. All purple.
It is. I think that the Canadians got a little bit too aggressive there. They moved in up to try to hit the opponent's spawn, and the two members of the world were like, hey, thanks for giving us mid. We didn't even have to do anything for that. But again, they have enough control of the rest of the map that it might be enough. They need to stay up. Jay Tuesday needs to run away. That's a little bit of damage on Alice. Pacecat can clean it up there, but Alice too quick to be taken down by a Sorel Umbrella and gets right before the baller comes out. K-Bot comes in and throws the Ink Storm out. I think this is it, Melissa. I think we're going to see a sweep.
Man, I think we certainly are. There's not enough green ink on that map in order to call them the winners. So this has been a fantastic showing. You know, we got our TO Grudge match, which I am happy to see. I think it was not what we thought.
Woo!
You and I are both convinced this went to the world. It went to Canada's side. Nice job, Canada.
Judge.